Hey guys, welcome to Tech Brainiac. Today we will compare Poco M2 Pro and Redmi Note 9. Let's begin. Starting with looks and feel of the two smartphones. Both the phones have a plastic back. Poco M2 Pro is 8.8mm thick, whereas Redmi Note 9 is 8.9mm thick. Poco M2 Pro weighs 209 grams, whereas Redmi Note 9 weighs 199 grams. Poco M2 Pro has tropical green, glacier white, interstellar gray color variants, and on the other side Redmi Note 9 has forest green, midnight gray, polar white color variants. Since looks and feel of a smartphone is subjective, I will go for the Redmi Note 9 as I like the way it looks and feels. Now let's move on to the displays of the phones. Poco M2 Pro has a IPS LCD panel, while Redmi Note 9 has a IPS LCD panel. Poco M2 Pro has a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus panel with resolution of 1080x2400 and an aspect ratio of 20:9, while the Redmi Note 9 has a 6.53-inch Full HD Plus panel with resolution of 1080x2340 and an aspect ratio of 19.59. Poco M2 Pro has a pixel density of 395 and a refresh rate of 60 Hz, whereas Redmi Note 9 has a pixel density of 395 and a refresh rate of 60 Hz. Poco M2 Pro comes with a punch-hole notch type with 84.5 screen-to-body ratio, while Redmi Note 9 has a punch-hole notch with 83.5 screen-to-body ratio. As display is concerned, I will go for the Poco M2 Pro. Now let's move on to the platforms of the devices. Poco M2 Pro runs on Android 10, MIUI 11, whereas Redmi Note 9 runs on Android 10, MIUI 12. Poco M2 Pro is powered by a Qualcomm SM7125 Snapdragon 720G 8nm octa-core chipset, whereas Redmi Note 9 is powered by a MediaTek Helio G85 12nm octa-core chipset. Poco M2 Pro comes with 64 and 128GB storage variants, whereas Redmi Note 9 comes with 64 and 128GB storage variants. Both have UFS 2.1 type storage. Poco M2 Pro has a 4 and 6GB RAM variants, whereas Redmi Note 9 has a 3, 4 and 6GB RAM variants. Poco M2 Pro has a SAR value of 1.138 watt per kilograms, whereas Redmi Note 9 has a SAR value of 1.138 watt per kilograms. So clearly I will go for Poco M2 Pro when it comes to overall performance. Let's move to the cameras of the two smartphones. Poco M2 Pro has a rear camera setup of 48+8+5+2 megapixels. Whereas Redmi Note 9 has a rear camera setup of 48+8+2+2 megapixels. Poco M2 Pro can record 4K at 30 fps, 1080p at 30, 60 and 120 fps, 720p at 960 fps from its rear camera. Whereas Redmi Note 9 can record 1080p at 30 fps from its rear camera. Poco M2 Pro has a front camera of 16 megapixels, whereas Redmi Note 9 has a front camera of 13 megapixels. Poco M2 Pro can record 1080p at 30 and 120 fps from its front camera, whereas Redmi Note 9 can record 1080p at 30 fps from its front camera. Poco M2 Pro has gyro EIS stability, and Redmi Note 9 also has a gyro EIS. Both the phones have a pretty good camera setup, but Poco M2 Pro takes an extra edge over the camera comparison, so personally I would go for the Poco M2 Pro. Let's move to the batteries of the two phones. Poco M2 Pro has a 5000 mAh LiPo battery. Poco M2 Pro can last up to 1.5 days with average usage. Redmi Note 9 has a 5020 mAh LiPo battery. Redmi Note 9 can last up to 1.5 days with average usage. Poco M2 Pro comes with a 33-watt charger which can charge your phone in 2 hours. Redmi Note 9 comes with an 18-watt charger which can charge your phone in 2 hours. So as long as battery life and charging time is concerned, Redmi Note 9 is a winner here. At the end, let's come to pricing of both the devices. Poco M2 Pro is priced at Rs 15,990 and Redmi Note 9 is priced at Rs 11,999. That is all about the comparison. Both the devices are pretty good at their stands. However, if I am asked to choose one device after comparing all the aspects and the one that fits my daily needs, then I would choose Poco M2 Pro. Thanks for watching our video. Watch more of our videos to choose which phone to buy instead of wasting your money. See you in our next video.